There's nothing like sitting outside and listening to the Made in Abyss soundtrack. This show is truly a masterpiece. What? How have you not heard of it? Okay, you should definitely keep watching. Okay, we all know Demon Slayer shouldn't have won that category. Alright, enough of this. Let's get this out of the way right now. I rate Made in Abyss a 10 out of 10 masterpiece of an anime, and through me actively voicing my opinions online to a growing audience, I have learned that I'm in the minority here. Now, Made in Abyss hasn't been hit with the dreaded M word yet, but I rarely see people give it the praise it deserves. Even though most, if not all, the famous anime critics have raved this show countless times, but the praises the show does receive is mostly that of the soundtrack, created by one of the best composers anime has ever seen, Kevin motherfucking Penkin. Yes, the music slaps harder than that guy in Okami-san wanting to get kicked in the face.
Please kick me some more.
Awesome.
More. Harder. Oh yeah!
Don't ask. When I say Made in Abyss is a masterpiece, I don't mean the stellar soundtrack, I mean the actual story. I can talk for days about the second season because I watched that recently, but I had to rewatch the first season for this video. So, am I right? Is Made in Abyss more than just a good soundtrack? Is this anime truly a masterpiece? So what's the verdict? The haters may have a point. The hell? The main criticism I see for this show is that the beginning is okay. Good enough to keep going for some, and okay to casually drop for others. And as someone who has fond memories of the first season, I couldn't wrap my head around this criticism, hence the rewatch. And yeah, I see where you guys are coming from now. The start of the series is intriguing, but slow at times. You get bonded to the characters and you learn how the village surrounding the Abyss works, but it doesn't even scratch the surface of what makes this show so great. The journey into the Abyss, the main appeal of the show, doesn't even happen till episode 4. Now, some of you may think that that's not necessarily a long wait, but by today's storytelling standards, that's a pretty long time to get through the synopsis of the show. Most critically acclaimed anime of today get through their synopsis by the first episode. So yeah, in that sense, the show has a rough start, yet I still think this anime is a masterpiece. Okay, good. You really had me in the first half. You better be singing Made in Abyss's praises because, you know, I shaved for this. Even through this slow start, the show still manages to give you the feeling of an epic journey. Yes, the music helps with this a lot, but so does the world building. There is a reason when I announced my Better Than One Piece world building video, a lot of you guys thought that I was going to be talking about Made in Abyss. Shout out to everyone who guessed. Keep up with us on the community tab and on Twitter. In these 4 episodes, you learn about the Abyss, the dangers traveling down it, and the different curses you receive trying to come back up. Each layer saying, "Hold my beer," to the previous one before it. You also learn about the Cave Raiders ranking system from Red to White Whistle. You are granted to travel to certain layers based on your rank, red being the lowest and white being like the level 5s of Academy City. Go watch my index video. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Each abyss not only looks cool, but they're filled with so much monsters and mystery that people worship the hole in the ground as if itself is a god.
Hey Abyss, it's your boy. Could really use some help getting people subscribed to the YouTube channel.
Bringing me back to my main point. The main appeal of this show isn't the world building, it isn't the music, it's the actual story. The story of Made in Abyss is like an ever-growing puzzle piece. You think the show is just spouting exposition for world building purposes, but it's actually giving you hints of what's going to happen in the story. You learn about the curses of the Abyss because you're going to see all the curses of the Abyss. You learn about the mysteries of the world because that is the driving force of our cast. And as you keep watching, you start to see the hype behind the show. Suddenly, okay turns to great because you start to travel further and further into the Abyss. Chekhov is literally shooting his gun in his grave in celebration because boy does Made in Abyss have a lot of examples of his concept within its story. If you don't know what Chekhov's gun is, then pause the video and read the definition. The show starts out by telling you that the desires of mankind, whether they be good or bad, fearful or delightful, lie within the abyss. If only you are willing to abandon what you already have for the truth. You think this serves as exposition for the show, but good exposition always serves a second purpose. This is the show outright telling you that the story you're looking for in this series lies at the deep end of the abyss. That the further you go down, the closer you are to that truth. Made in Abyss's story is a puzzle, and the deeper you fall, the deeper you travel with these characters, the more pieces you fill in to see the bigger picture. Hey, see what I did there? I went back to the thumbnail. It was just a really cool transition. Anyway, but okay, RJ, that doesn't make this show a masterpiece. The pieces of the puzzle have to be good, otherwise we won't care about the bigger picture. Trust me, they're good. What makes Made in Abyss's puzzle pieces or arcs so well written is the fact that it is constantly a grounded fantasy. This isn't your typical fantasy with a power system or magic that lets you blow up mountains.
I'm a fire in my laser!
I'm just gonna rewrite that real quick. Or magic that lets you chuck a school like a frisbee. Yeah, that's better. The storytelling chops of the show is how the fantastical elements capture humanity while still being a fantasy, keeping the anime grounded and mystical at the same time. This isn't an escapism fantasy, it's packed with realistic themes. The feeling of being left alone, the loss of someone precious to you, saying goodbye to a friend, knowing that life is separating you, and the nudging feeling, the absolute urge of wanting something so bad you're willing to risk it all. These are real things we can relate to, yet they're told in ways that only work for this world. No, being poisoned by a giant porcupine bear might not be real, but the fear of losing a loved one via nature is. I hope no one is leaving their kid behind to explore a giant hole in the earth, but when you have some type of fame, you have to make sure it doesn't affect the people in your personal life. No, you might not be a bunny girl trapped in a doomsday hole, but caring for a sick loved one is something that people go through daily. I don't even think I need to explain why Fapata's story is realistic. If people mess with your mom, you be mad too. And Reg, well, he's just finding Dory, isn't he? These elements are not just fantasy, they're fantasy grounded in the human experience. And the characters, the lore, and that mystical feeling you get from watching this amazing anime all hit you at once. And that soundtrack starts playing. Specifically, Hanaziv Karad Hina. I have no idea if I pronounced that right, but this song slaps. The soundtrack stands out to so many people because it enhances the tone of the show greatly. You may be thinking, well, duh, RJ, that's what every soundtrack does. But there is a difference between setting the tone and enhancing the tone. Kevin has created a soundtrack that takes the already mystical aspects of the manga and brings it to life. But without the story being told the way it is, these amazing tracks wouldn't work. And through the seemingly slow start of the show, I can see why some may think the music makes the show, instead of the music and the story coming together to make one great anime. And guess what? The realistic fantasy elements, the music, the animation, the puzzle piecing story, everything I stated in this video all gets better and better the more you travel down the abyss. With the release of the third movie, the show went from great to fucking awesome, and after finishing the second season, the show went from awesome to a goddamn masterpiece. Fapata is best girl and best character, and you can't change my mind. Made in Abyss is a journey, one that may start slow for some, but will eventually consume most. The show is not for the faint of heart, as it does touch on some dark themes at times, but if you stick with it, I promise you, you will come out with a smile on your face. I could go on about how great the characters are, I could go on about how great the world building is, I could go on about the intriguing mysteries of the story, but I think you understand how I feel about the show by now. I truly believe that it is the storytelling that makes this show as great as it is, and that's why everything from the music to the animation is as great as it is. I can't confirm this, but by simply watching the show, I feel like the animation team knew they had something special. Kevin Penkin knew he was working on something special, and Akihito Tsukushi knew he was writing something special. This show is a once-in-a-lifetime fantastical journey. So what are you waiting for? Are you brave enough to travel down into the abyss?
I wanna go home where the city sleeps. Against the light.
Hey guys, if you like Made in Abyss or any other anime, come join the rest of the family in that Discord. We would love to have you. Link in the description. But yeah, this video was 4 years in the making. I promised it at the beginning of the channel, and I'm just now getting around to it, but I am glad I waited because the third movie and the second season, I think, support my point greatly, and they weren't out when I first started this channel. So yeah, I guess it all came together. I hope I did Made in Abyss justice with this one, and thank you so much to our patrons, Maury and Crystal. You guys are awesome, and if you want to go see these videos, like videos that I just make on the YouTube channel, that's what YouTube is. If you want to see them early, yeah, go to the Patreon. Yeah. Go follow us on Twitch and Twitter. We're also up there a lot. And yeah, guys, if you watched this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I'm RJ Lane. This has been On the Rise.